And it's something you learn when you have a YouTube channel. You just don't feed the trolls, and yeah, the bottom line is there's all kinds of opinions out there. And even if I didn't have a YouTube channel, I'm playing a single player game, and I think some guys are just out there to rile you up, right? This guy's basically saying we're using the RTS mode. We're playing Bannerlord Easy mod, right? He said it gives us an inherent advantage. You can level up companions. He went on to list all the different reasons. He's reaching out on Reddit to attack me for this stuff, and I guess just some people are miserable in life. You know, if you're a young player or a young person out there in the world and you don't know how to deal with trolls, it's kind of an age-old saying. And maybe you young fellas know how to deal with trolls better than I do, basically, because, of course, this is something, it's a relatively new phenomenon, or at least in the way that they're appearing, right? These guys come out, and this guy's basically, it seems like he's just trying to get my goat. Either that or he's a moron, right? Because this guy is not looking at any of the variables here, saying that we're playing Bannerlord on easy difficulty because we're using the RTS mod, right? Does it look like it's helping us here, right? Half our force just got mangled in this battle, right? So we use it to speed up battles. I use it sometimes to take control over character when my main character gets down, which should be a vanilla feature, right? I thought it was a vanilla feature most of the time. See if we have any deaths here. Just one, right? 5 upgrades and 1 deaths. And anyways, the bottom line is this campaign is intentionally brutally difficult, and this guy had the audacity to reach out. He wasn't talking about this one, but he was talking about our previous Bandit campaign, where he said you're using the RTS mod. He said you're running above the troop limit. Quit exploiting the game and using cheat mode. And I was like, cheat mode? He's like, yeah, the RTS mod is cheats. I can't use it on the console. Therefore, you're cheating, or something to that effect. He wasn't quite that eloquent. He was tossing some expletives my way, and I'm pretty sure it's just a troll. Anyways, I don't know why I'm rambling about that, other than to say, don't let trolls get your goat, right? Well, ultimately, there are some people in life that are just kind of unfortunate. They're bitter, and maybe they have a miserable family life or some kind of other miserable existence, and the bottom line is, you shouldn't pay too much attention to people like that. Maybe no attention at all, right? The only attention I feel is I feel sorry for the guy. Anyways, I don't know why we start an episode here. We're still recording. Let's just get an episode on. Welcome back again, friends, to another episode of Tactical Enlightenment. Our YouTube channel is dedicated to all things Bannerlord related. You are indeed watching the Bannerlord 1.5 beta. I was going to say, here, I'll prove it to you and show you a companion that we control and their stuff. How can I show this to you? Well, how about the map? We'll start with the map, right? We are playing a bandit campaign here, bandit minor clan campaign here, where the Khazate have almost conquered the whole map. And we have a simultaneous campaign going on where the Sturgeons were given sort of the vast majority of the clans and the cities. And it's much worse so far with the Khazate. In other words, the Khazate seem to be doing better than the Sturgeons, which I don't think surprises a whole lot of people, right? The Khazate compared to the Sturgeons is kind of no contest. In any case, this campaign continues. We've got Khazad here. Khazad. I better come up with a way to pronounce it if we're going to call him this the rest of the campaign. Khazad. I think that's it, right? Khazad. And we've got a bunch of raggedy troops here, and we're experimenting, right? What size of a bandit party will surrender and join us with this perk here, right? This roguery perk. This one right here, surrendering bandit parties can be recruited. Well, they have to surrender to you first, right? I'm going to wait for daylight here in case this group of thugs doesn't want to surrender. And because of that, some of these forces are fighting us, and it's a good opportunity. Yeah, see, you'll never take us alive. They're not surrendering, right? Some of these forces are like, yeah, bring it on, right? And bring it on with your raggedy little force of deserters. So we'll fight some of these battles where it's close, but honestly, the vast majority of these... why does it keep doing this? It keeps resetting my units here. The vast majority of these, of course, we're going to auto-resolve until this campaign gets to a juicier stage, right? Until the battles start getting manifestly more difficult than this. Most of these battles here are going to be just a breeze. So notice the distance starts the enemy out away, right? That is also a function of their army size. A similar change occurred with the ships with the 1.5 update. Ships now in situations where it's a bunch of just little skiffs, not only do you appear further away from the enemy, which makes sense, but in many cases they will have a huge area to approach you, or more accurately, I guess a better way to say it, as this huge band of looters pours at us. there will be a larger area for both sides to set up pre-battle, right? Pre-battle ships. So you're not restricted to the little rectangle that you were prior to the 1.5 update, which is a good change, right? So believe it or not, we're going to do a little tiny bit of tactics here against looters because it's, 300 of them, 230 or whatever. So just going to put our cavalry on this flank, and as soon as they're there, they could charge over here. Of course, archers and our little band of infantry here is going to fling all kinds of javelins and rocks in here. It's going to be horrific for them, and the cavalry then should circle beautifully. The bottom line is this many looters would kill a bunch of our troops if we were really careless. So it's pretty simple tactics. It's ultra simple tactics, but it will also work for you pretty well in your campaign. It's essentially Aserai tactics is the easiest way to think of it. The bottom line is the Aserai probably have the best F1, F3 nation in the game. And of course, our units feel kind of Aserai-like because we are in Aserai territory. The bandits that we're picking up are mostly Aserai or southern bandits. And I don't know the last time you've ever gotten 12,000 gold from fighting looters, but that's what we just got. We're getting paid 600 influence or something for all these kills, and that was a whole lot of looters we dispatched. And I didn't look closely, but I don't know if we had a single casualty there. So it's a little bit maybe it's cheat mode, right? Just like that guy. I guess that guy in Reddit's right. But ultimately, I think it's fine for us to have a few advantages here. Again, to remind you, we're not using normal troops in this campaign. None. We won't have any Aserai unless it's an accident, right? I'm not going to be putting them into our roster here. So we're going to get crazy deserters here because I'm still 120, 130 over our limit. But the good news is, for the most part, when we get deserters, it's going to come from these raggedy troops here at the bottom. I'm trying to protect our archers. I'm typically moving up our archers up the list because I don't want to lose our few amount of archers, right? Our army is like 80% cav and infantry, and I find that pretty suboptimal when it comes to tactics. Now, this city we already defended last episode, and I was noticing this. I don't think we're going to have to. It's being besieged. As we just got our deserter check. It's being besieged here by a Khazate force. But we've got an Aserai force. The same force that took Hubyar is now reformed and back at it again. I'm almost certain they're going to defend Iacus, right? They have 700 troops. The attackers only have 1,000. There's 500 sieging. You can do the math, right? Typically, a defense force like that is going to obliterate that kind of assaulting force. All right, let's try to stick to the script here. We're not recruiting, right? We're not recruiting. You probably see me do it accidentally and then have to give the troops up. We're really having a hard time finding good equipment here. I've found some decent armor, but we're still wearing some pretty raggedy shit here. That'll probably change once we move up the clan tier phase. All right, so here's my thinking, right, at this stage of the campaign. We're a mercenary for the Aserai, but that does not stop us from fighting for these other kingdoms. And essentially, when you do the invasion mod in Bannerlord, it is everybody against the Khazate, right? Look at what's happened here. In fact, I was taking a look closer. A lot of the kingdoms are already gone in this campaign, and it happened so fast I barely blinked and it happened. The Nords are barely alive. The Sturgeons, I think, are gone. The Northern Empire is gone. The Southern Empire is gone, and so much more dire than the other campaign where we're doing here. And I think, to me, this is the most interesting of all the different alternate, they're called ASO, alternate starting options, because what you really have is you have a doom scenario where basically if you don't do major, where the hell's our fleet? If you don't do major stuff to help your kingdom, where the hell did I park it? I think it was down in Ascar. I don't know. Anyways, if you don't do big time stuff for your clan, you're going to get mauled, right? You're going to get conquered by the enemy because they have so much resources, because they have so many clans. If you don't basically make a huge impact in your campaign, you're going to get sacked and you're going to suffer a horrific defeat, right? Ultimately, your clan will get captured just like everybody else. Ordinarily in a campaign, there's balancing. That's designed to prevent that from happening. But this is the opposite. This is designed quite literally to make Bannerlord as hard as difficult, right? As hard as possible. Because not only, again, do they have all this territory, but they have all the clans, right? If you look at like the Western Empire, they're ghetto, right? Or they're raggedy, right? They don't have many resources. They've got 2 or 3 cities, and they're not led by Gyarios, right? They got, oh, I beg your pardon, I'm way off. They're led by Gyarios, but they don't have, oh, actually, you know what? They have a lot of the clans here. So maybe they started off okay, but a lot of, I sound like an idiot here, like I don't know, like I don't know how this mod works. The bottom line, though, is a lot of the nobles, I think Caladog is a good example. So the Botanians are still left, they're still alive, but Caladog started fighting for the Khazate, right? So in this kingdom, it's almost like you've got a 5 kingdom alliance against your kingdom, and it's good luck, right? And this storm is running us over here. Now, that was a good sign, right? That green means they won down there. We knew that was going to happen, or at least we predicted that was going to happen. That was pretty probable. Now, I'm still trying to interact with our couple minor clans here. The Beni Zalal and the Jawal are highly sought after in this campaign by our main character, right? We want to befriend them long term. We're going to become our own kingdom eventually in this campaign. Oh, this happened too. An Aserai army under Unquid sailed north and took Zionica, and I was thinking this is a great opportunity for us because we can hit, I think we can hit this and get some ship updates, ship upgrades here. So let's manage our fleet here. And let's stick some real ballistas on here. Anybody who's watched the first couple 3 hours of this or couple 3 episodes knows that there's some horrific differences between basically the good ballistas and the ballistas that we've been using, right? So we have, it's right here. We have the grape shot, fire grape shot ballista. This is what you want, friends. I'm just telling you right now. I haven't experimented that much with the heavy iron ballista. It's basically a cannonball. This option here, we can make our ship carry more troops and stuff like that. I think these ballistas for sure should be one of your options. And out of these top 3 here, I think, I don't know, but I think this is basically by far the best option. So I'm going to put that on a couple 3 of our ships here because every once in a while you end up on one of your other ships and firing their ballista. In fact, this third guy here, let's try this, right? Let's see if the heavy iron ballista does anything out there. And I finally got enough money here that you can just go across the board and just pick up every single update for our main ship, help it sail faster, all that shit. And I thought we had a figurehead. How come we don't have a figurehead? I don't know if I put it on another ship or what. But that's a nice upgrade for our fleet, right? Suddenly we're going to be flinging fire all over the place. Let's check the store here to see if there's any legendary tier 6 equipment. Right? Usually not, but it's always worth a shot. If there was any there, we would have picked it up. All right, so we're not going to go on land here. We're going to try to participate here. In fact, already, here we go, right? So Caladog, we're going to fight there somehow, some way. As long as we can make it there, that's a perfect example. How slow are we moving here? Damn it, we got disorganized by that quest. That might be the difference here. The good news is Siege is almost obscenely slow right now. In other words, note the day, Winter 4. Maybe they started this siege on Winter 3 or Winter 2. They already have a siege works built. That's a problem, right? Because the next phase is pretty quick. Once they kick up a ram and a siege tower, the siege is going to commence. But I honestly think we're going to make it still, and we might have an opportunity here to fight them in the open. Our army is vast, and we're still, of course, we're looking to run down Sea Raiders on the raid there because we do have the right perk, right? We have this R perk to bring them into the fold. I think we talked about that last episode. Surrendering pirates can be recruited directly into your armor. It's an uber perk. We haven't had much luck with it so far, though. Basically, everybody's been telling us to pack sand when we try to bring their forces into our clan. We'll see how that works, right? We've had a few, we had a couple looter bands and actually had a large band of desert raiders say, sure, we'll join you. We're making it. Look at it. The city siege just started. It's like, no question, we're going to make it there. And I think this has swung way too far in favor of the defenders in a campaign like this. You have forever to get to a siege. And whether or not we get inside Charis, where did this happen? This is bad, right? This is them getting sacked down here, probably somewhere in here. So that means the Khazate are going to start sieging again. But you just have forever to respond into a castle situation like this, and I think it's another classic situation. You just get inside. Right? Yeah, we're going to lose some troops when we sneak in, but that's a quest rejoining us right here, and there's 160 troops. It looks like there's two or three catapults. We didn't even get deserters. How nice is that? And in we go. Now, on some level, we're not going to continue to show... I'm trying to think here. I'm trying to think if I want to take a chance here and not even recruit these guys. I think we'll just play it safe. It doesn't guarantee that we save this city, but almost, right? Like, we're going to have a large force. Note there's no militia. That's happening because of the rebellion feature that we have in this campaign. Basically makes it so that cities are rebellious anywhere under, I think it's like 60, give or take 60. Not too concerned about this. Ballista reload time, though. That's a nice perk, right? Although we've got a dedicated dude that does all that shit. All right, break in. I've already got the javelins, and this Caladog's cooked here. You got all kinds of kings and whatnot. Halfdar is here. Caladog is here. Come with us. I guess if they have great troops and the king of the Britannians and the Nords, maybe they can overcome us here. Maybe if there's something unexpected, but the people who follow the channel on a regular basis knows, you know, once you get basic strategies down for siege, you're not unbeatable, of course, right? There's no such thing. But boy, do you have a huge advantage on the player who's not doing this, and I think, you know, just a big advantage on the AI in general. I've got a lot of troops here. How come I have so many troops? I guess I didn't look. How many troops did we have before we snuck in? A lot, I guess. This is a horde of troops. I've got so many troops, they're actually in the way. In fact, we got a logjam here. This becomes a problem sometimes. You'll call your troops down, right? You'll tell your archers to get down, and they create huge bottlenecks on the stairs. It can actually be fatal under some conditions, right? It can cause you to lose the siege. This 4th Division, let's just stick them here for now. Actually, let's bring them up. These gatehouses here, you can definitely get stuck in the gatehouses. And for now, I'm not too worried about the archers, right? What I want to do is I want to get here to one of these catapults. Hopefully a fire catapult, just like that. Take that from you, lads. And the melting process begins. You can almost smell it already, and that is dismembered, burned, and mangled Khazate units, troops, etc. These guys here. Fall back there, dudes. They're a little bit too excitable. All right, let's see if we can kill the troops that are on near and or on the ramp. We'll speed through this. Now, they're already barreling up to that ladder over there. That is happening because of the enhanced siege AI. Jarl Snow, thank you for that one. If you don't know anything about that, it basically makes the AI a lot more intelligent when it comes to siege. So I don't know if you could see it, but right above the little arrow there, above that little barricade, the enemy is pouring up those walls. So that might be a problem here, especially since we still have a huge problem here on this ladder. I'm sure you can see that there through the little crenellations. The enemy is jammed up, or excuse me, it feels like the enemy is hugely jammed up because I brought our troops down. There's not enough ladder way for all those guys to maneuver. And so what you get in a situation like this is a huge bottleneck. These archers here, I'm going to just have to pull these guys with me because they're jamming our troops up so bad nobody can move. You can actually, like I said, you can get a fatal situation doing what we're doing there too long. Now, there's probably a siege tower above us here. Let's go ahead and put some infantry right here. And now let's try to take these archers and put them down here. So I got a nice little skirmisher division here. These guys are drilling everybody with skirmisher, with javelins. And the rest of the archers can just kind of go up there. Something kind of like that. Sounds good. And it's weird, we have red troops here, but those are not our friends necessarily. At least not overtly our friends. Those are Valandian units, but they're allied with us, right? The Valandians are, for all intents and purposes, our allies in this campaign. Now the ram is, where is the ram? The ram's beneath us. I don't hear it banging on the door. Maybe it got destroyed. Now I got all these archer dipshits following me. it can be a real problem, right? The bottom line is that the system does not know how to handle this, right? I don't think Tail Worlds, I still don't know if they know this to this day, how some people are defending Castle Siege, right? It's basically, you know, it's I don't want to say it's an industry secret. Lots of people are doing it, and it's not like we wholly invented it, but, you know, this way of jamming up the gate really messes with the system, and it messes with the Allied forces sometimes too, because of course what happens is the Allied forces are trying to get up here on the wall, which is, I don't want them to do that, right? But they're doing that anyways because that's their program. And they're still coming, but these guys have a 0% chance of winning this siege, even if they get through the gate, which it looks like the ram got destroyed. I didn't see it get destroyed, but there were all kinds of catapults firing here, and that's almost certainly what happened. Uh-oh, I'm getting some stalls. Usually that means the AI is either shit in the bed or retreating. We're still recording. A lot of times that happens, the AI is like, we're out of here, right? They're just being pile-drived. And I think they only have that access, right? Because the siege tower over here is destroyed. Yeah, so at this stage, there's almost an argument to be made, if you can get out the front door, do so, right? Because then theoretically we can get troops wrapped all around them, and definitely I can, this is a spot here, you can get archers back up on the walls. Guys say, you don't ever use archers on the walls? It's very sporadic, right? When there's no infantry or no archer support, I don't see any archers anywhere, right? These guys are all trying to beat on the door. I'm killing archers, right? That's where their archers are. And they can't win this siege. We're not going to open the door. I was thinking about opening the door and barreling out there, but since they're all bottled up here, hey, you just kill them en masse while they're piled up there, right? Just have some of that gained a level by killing you. We're gaining experience by giving them horrific concussions. And I don't know if we're going to lose any troops here. These are not our troops, right? These forces here, I have a square here, and we have a square down there. Some bandits down there. But all the forces still on the wall that you see, those are all allied dumbasses. Valandians. We don't really care that much about Valandia, but I guess at least in this fight, you know, they're our friends. Tempting actually to open the door and just mass execute all these forces. I don't know if I can open both doors, and you can actually get yourself in a jackpot by doing that as well. I think that was the door. That sure sounded like the door, right? Yeah, these guys are, they really want some here. So we've got a bunch of archers, you know, but note I don't have the square there set up yet. So let's go ahead and fix that. And doesn't have to be too fancy. I've got this nice little division right here. This is the 3rd division. Let's just put them kind of, you know, somewhere down there. And let's back up some of these archers here. I'm going to suffer some fall damage here. Back here comes the enemy. They're bringing their best little bootlickers in. This is all they have left right at this stage. It's a bunch of raggedy troops. We don't have great troops either, of course. We have bandits, but they can't. They're not going to be able to deal with this kind of assault. They might get a few kills. But that's it, right? All this is going to do is allow us to kill more of them. It'll be easier for us to sally out. In fact, let's charge at the 3rd division. 3rd and 4th. Both these divisions can get offensive. I'm done playing defense in this siege. Like this force here, you're trying to kill to the last man. In fact, where's Caladog? Show me Caladog. Oh, insolent peasant. Have a javelin in your shield. We're gonna our forces barrel out the door here because they're on offense. Might as well at least get our archers above here so that the enemy's shot as well. And we might run down the enemy here to the last guy, right? They're going to flee here pretty soon. I think they just did. The only problem with this is our troops are too busy celebrating here. Kill them. Don't celebrate, lads. Right, whatever's still here, we're still going to have to kill, so. But we did a number on this force here. Probably 20 casualties, something like that. 8 dead, 27 casualties. That'll do. All right, let's sally out. We're not about to let this force get away, right? You're going to get some loot here. Again, thanks you, Jarl Snow. We don't get the money. We don't get plunder, but this is good loot, right? That's certainly worth whatever plunder we were, or whatever gold we were going to get. And now you pause. And we leave. We attack. Now that's interesting, right? They're running. I actually like that. I don't want them anywhere part of this, right? Caladog's army is going to heal here a little bit. It's interesting. I wonder if they'll get there. How come we're so fucking slow? He almost got healed to the point that we were in trouble. If he had 280 or something right here, we might be in trouble. But this attack, I'm not even going to... There's no pause necessary here, right? We're going to be able just to sweep through this force, and this whole Khazate force is definitely captured. I like it, you know, that the AI does try to regroup here, too, right? The AI is basically saying, we can't siege anymore. That's good. They should leave now. They probably should have retreated a little bit before that, but you're also not asking for the AI to do perfect behavior, right? That would not be good for the vast bulk of players, right? It would be way too hard for them. So I think that's a good, happy medium. We're also going to try different things with cavalry tactics in this campaign. One of the things I'm eager to test is waves of charging cavalry, although we're not going to be able to set up defensively here. I just realized the enemy's like, we need to run. We need to find some space where we can defend. They're obviously not going to charge us when we outnumber them significantly. Too bad they don't go down there and try to defend the little, you know, the little desert area here. And they're peppering me pretty good. They might have some high-end archers left. And so we're just going to shatter them here with archer fire. Rain down some javelins on these boys for prickling me there a few times. You guys are going to pay for that shit. Gonna bring up our cavalry here and dump javelins into them. And we can speed through some of these battles. Hold my shield up here so I don't get smoked. I'm gonna get a few kills probably. They clearly have some good forces left because they did a number on my character. Just shooting, throwing javelins and shooting arrows. All right. And these guys here, you just fire. Right? And we've got lots and lots of skirmishers, and the javelins are just going to pour in there and start breaking shields. That's sexy. Pound them. Gonna move them to the side here a little bit. No reason for our cavalry to get charged. Where's Caladog? Is he in there? He's got, it's the weirdest thing, right? Caladog, of course, I don't know why, but he has javelins, right? Seems like Caladog should probably have arrows, bows and arrows, but our character did get smoked. It's 98 damage, right? That's probably an elite lord or maybe a Naute or something like that, but it really doesn't matter all that much here. Now that they're charging up there, those guys could charge, the 1st Division can charge, and the infantry is completely pinched. They've got a lot of good skirmishers in here. Right? That's what happened to my character on Naute. They got a lot of good units here, actually. And this is a Corsair. This guy's fast. I think it's because he's got very light armor on, but I easily dusted. This is not a character, I think, right? This is just a Corsair, and he's trucking. I think because these guys are lightly armored and very athletic. Halthar mangled. And actually, you know what? I think Caladog and Halthar, they weren't even in this battle, right? They were already unconscious. Oh no, Caladog, yeah, see, he wasn't even there, right? He's laying on the ground back at the castle. Should say captured him right there. Stop. I yield. Hopefully we get a horde. Yeah, this is exactly what you're hoping for, right? A huge horde of prisoners. We get Halthar. We get a bunch of begs, right? We got a Radweir beg. That's basically the name for generals, right, within the Khazate, and we get them all, right? We just got like 12 lords. Some of them are going to escape, probably. Let's see if there's any troops of any value here for us. Not really, right? There's just none of these troops we can use. It's certainly not going to be a lot of tier 5 units that we can use. I can probably scroll down. We'll take an occasional minor clan prisoner or two, right, because at least those guys we can recruit. But there's not very many bandits here. It's not very effective for us. It's something, I guess, though. Right? The big battles are going to yield us a lot more prisoners than battles against lords. And where's that Reddit guy? We're exploiting our way through this campaign. Yeah. Take that. Exploit away. Now, because this is not our own castle, I can't deposit prisoners into the dungeon here, right? We're going to have to run or boat all the way down to Aserai territory. And given the nature and quality of the prisoners here, that's exactly what we're going to do. I could give them to the ransom broker, but I think we'll get so much more. Watch this shit. Wait. Can't see the button. Not a fan of this. I can't even fucking see. I think this guy should surrender, right? Yeah, here we go. We get free looters. Join the party, boys. We got a party boat, and you guys are invited. See if there's any shit here we want to buy. I don't know if it's a function of the early game nature, but the stores are unbelievably impoverished, right? They seem to have a few horses and hardly any food. They have no good equipment. It's really kind of strange. This is all that's here. There's like nothing here. There's one, I feel like I'm in Waterworld, where all they have is some shelves and a mangled looking tomato plant. It's interesting. All right, we want to, so we could, if it was like an elite horse, maybe I would do that. All right, let's go. Let's hit the water. Where's my fleet again? I keep getting separated from my fleet. It takes that long for it to get there? Shit, I hit the wrong button. Cancel. Repair ship, set sail. Now, we're still at risk here. Right? There's a force of 400 but there's not many boats that have our speed and our lethality on the water, right? And inevitably, some of these guys are going to escape. Let's go to YS, and let's speed it along here. I've got this 9X button. We can just cruise through this part of the gameplay. I'm not going to film every minute of this campaign from this stage on, but we're going to film a lot of it. A lot of guys have been giving feedback on other campaigns, saying they want to see more, right? Unbroken campaign processes, so we'll do our best here to show more. We want to go to the dungeon and donate prisoners. I realize I could have taken all the other prisoners and just sold them. Somebody's out there going to leave a comment saying that was stupid. They're right, but we're playing this campaign differently. Ultimately, 100%, right? You should do that. You should, if you have a bunch of prisoners after a huge battle outside a city, you should run them over. But you also suffer massive desertion in a situation like that. We have, such a small army. I can't haul around 500 prisoners, right? They would escape left and right. And on top of that, I think we would have had nobles escape under that circumstance as well. And there's 60 grand, right? So we still got rich out of that. One way or another, we're going to definitely make our money in this campaign. Our mercenary contract's probably going to look silly at times. All right, and there's not much here, right? I guess a little tiny shield upgrade. The cities seem to have pretty impoverished equipment in this campaign, which just, that puts a premium on the nice stuff when you do find it. Guess we'll buy some beer for the lads. See if there's any quests, and back out on the ocean. Let's see what's going on here. This is Iacus besieged again, and I don't think we're going to be able to save it this time. It's going to fall. Maybe we can help Jemiah Castle. It's a balance. Obviously, I want to help up here, right? We just captured a big force, but if I stay up there, then the Aserai will get mangled. So I think since it seems convenient, although that's a good sign too, right? Unquid is reforming an army. Gathering near Jemiah Castle, and Iacus fell. Oh no, I was going to say it fell in a hurry. It didn't fall, actually. All right, let's see if we can get some sea raiders, right? There's got to be some lords out here that we can, or not lords, but some bandits out here. Shit. We just helped that city survive assault, and now the rebels went crazy. That's going to be a big part of this game, right, is the rebels, right? The rebels are definitely going to be a constant and chaotic threat. I have made suggestions to Tail Worlds. Some of the guys, here we go. We got all kinds of Corsairs that we can hopefully pin against the rocks here. We might be able to get all of these Corsairs. Well, not if they go different directions, I guess. Don't go anywhere. We're coming back for you too. I think if we can push this guy up the river, I don't think he can escape. Maybe I'm wrong. This guy, he's moving pretty quick. Come on. Okay, let's see. Hopefully they just surrender, right? I don't want to have to continue to fight these guys. Yeah, here we go, right? You can earn your lives back by serving our command, and just instantly, not only do we get their ships, which is, it's a nice little added bonus for gold, but look at this, right? These are beautiful troops, and it's going to put us way over the limit, but it's going to allow us to fight the targets that we're wanting to fight in this campaign, right? Large forces, and we're going to have some hilarious situations pop up later in this campaign. We had a bandit playthrough a long time ago where we had similar circumstances, and there were times where we could add 600 looters to our army. We had mods that were making the bandit parties even bigger than this. In fact, you could make them crazy big. We actually had a situation where there were 10,000 looters, which is, maybe it's not realistic, but It's fun for gameplay like this, right? When the enemy all of a sudden has these just, or when there's just these gigantic, almost inconceivably large forces. And you can see, at this stage now, we're going to be able to not just make money by gathering up these bandits, but we're also going to get an incredible amount of troops, right? We're going to be way, way over the minimum. And periodically, I'm going to run up and do this with mountain bandits and forest bandits. They're still, you know, tier 3, tier 4 units at best, but they're going to be free. And let's see what happens here. Let's see where this force goes. Never mind. That's where they went, right? They just got smashed right here. And the odds of Jemiah being besieged in the next 30 seconds, like 95%, right? I think that's what happened. That army just vanished. It looked like they were fighting. Jemiah castle's being besieged. We defend, right? And this should be, again, kind of easy money. Let me see here. Is there any way to get here faster? Maybe. It's about the same. I'm going to go this side because if it takes them 3 days to set up the castle, I don't want to be off my boat until they're already besieging, right? Because we're, oh shit, what's going on here? And they're coming for us. How many is this? We might attack 61, 80, 240. Here's the difficulty, right? I don't get 8 boats like they do, but we might have 3 very strong boats. Let me think here. We've got a whole bunch of looters. Those guys are going to be virtually worthless on the water. Coming for us, hot and heavy, huh? I was thinking, like, you know, what would a badass do? What would General Patton do? What would Riddick, you know, from the Chronicles of Riddick do, right? We fight. Come get it, you bitches. And they look like they're waffling, right? That gives me a little bit of hope here. We attack. And it says we have 10 ships, but we don't get 10 ships, right? We get our 3. Let's keep pushing that, and let's keep pushing this. You want the hit points, right? Our characters got to survive these battles over and over and over again. Now, one of the huge benefits here, of course, is now we're blowing up shields with our javelins, right? Shipboard, I probably should have grabbed a 3rd stack of javelins. There might even be some battles where we have 4, but we also, I made a mistake here. I should have gotten the javelin reloading barrels that you can get, right? There are, where's our big ship here? I'm not using these little tiny flotillas. There we go. 3 giant ships, and ours is the biggest ship of them all. And now we should have fire pots, right? So now we're really wreaking havoc on the enemy with our boats, especially at range. Let's make sure they've got our mariner here in charge of the infantry. And there should be multiple waves here, right? Not for sure, but probably, right? Because they're obviously going to have... this is a problem. Sometimes, yeah, see, I can't change my view here. I've seen this happen before, and I think it's an RTS problem. I can't change how I'm viewing this battle here. That's a problem. How do I fix this shit? Let's see. I think I remember you got to leave the helm, and now I can. Yeah, okay. See, I couldn't do anything there, so I'll try to figure out a better RTS mod so that's not happening to us consistently. I'm trying to think how we want to do this. Let's see. We still need to use a little bit of common sense here. I'm going to try to get to a flank here so I can just bombard them. But we've probably got equal quality troops. Maybe we don't have a lot more than them, but we certainly have the better ships, right? Our ships are going to be able to wreak havoc on the enemy here at range. I got 16 of these, right? So let's just sit right where we are here. In a way, you want guys backpedaling, right? Have them move back, because the more time you have here to fire, the better, right? I'm gonna have to recalibrate these shots here. It's been a little while with the fire catapult. And let's still send our 2nd boat in here, right? I don't really want to get swarmed and boarded here. One of the dangers of this many troops is they will flank the shit out of you, right? I'm going to actually have our dudes backpedal here. Because if all of these Khazate suddenly are boarding us or shooting us with archers from the flank, you can still get mangled in a battle like this, no question. Right? And we don't just have to win here, we need to decisively win, because there's going to be multiple waves, right? In fact, these boats here are coming in hot. At least it's only a couple, and they're smaller boats. We'll have less guys row. And let's have everybody get off their oars. And the other ships are kind of on their own here, right? Like, good luck they might get rolled up pretty well. Shit. There's a bunch of troops coming over on that other boat. I got 12 javelins. I should have, for sure, I should have done the perk that gives us more javelins. And honestly, the death spam right now looks awful. Why does it look so bad? I don't know if I got to tell these guys to charge or what. Do something. Don't get killed. We can't just win this battle. We got to win the next 3 battles, right? One battle at a time, of course, but right now it doesn't even feel like we can win this battle. They're hammering us with javelins. What the hell? My character, I lost control. I can't move my character all of a sudden. Man, is that bizarre. My character just all of a sudden started roaring forward like I thought I was being pushed by the water. Or something like that, like a swell was pushing me. And we look like we're in real trouble here. This guy's cutting, you guys are cutting the ropes a little bit early there, lads. They're trying to kill our troops or something. What the hell are you guys doing? Who the hell's cutting the, I didn't tell them to cut the ropes, right? We got guys drowning here and shit. Get up there, lads. We got more ships to work on. And the water is knocking me all over the place here. I'm paddling. I'm swimming. Get up there. I can't move. And we are getting worked on those other ships. All right, let's see if we can't save this situation. The good news, it doesn't matter even if these ships get worked as far as the troops, right? If we can survive this round, there'll be another wave. But at this stage, man, we're in for it, right? The enemy seems to have a lot of troops. We got these fireballs, though, right? That'll do the dent. Just ram the shit out of them, and now you just wait until you see lots of troops and fire. And hopefully we can really illustrate the value of these fire pots here. We're going to have to, because our other ships either got annihilated or they're in bad shape. There's a bunch there. What else do we got? There's 12 there. I got 5 more shots here. Need them to count, right? We can't afford at this stage to suffer a whole bunch of losses. And the ships are all bound up here, and I think I've got mouse controlling issues here. All of a sudden my mouse is like barely moving. Man, that's bad timing. I'm gonna have to adjust it, in fact. I've been trying to solve this problem for a long time. All of a sudden in battle, my cursor sensitivity just shits the bed, which is, needless to say, very bad time for that to happen. Let's try to get behind all these forces here. Our boat is mostly healthy, right? Our guys are doing just fine. I've got one more fire catapult here, and basically I'm killing all the forces that waxed our units here. So now all of a sudden my mouse sensitivity is through the roof. So it's like it varies here. I apologize for this. We're gonna continue soldiering on here. The good news is we have this battle pretty much wrapped up, right? I can tell these guys don't worry about rowing, lads. We don't need to move. The enemy's the one that's got to get to us at this stage. There's 13 over there, but they're not even trying to. They're trying to shoot us because they have mostly archers. I don't think that's going to work for you. We got more archers and probably better archers. And this battle's basically over. Let's see if I actually have to do anything here except just let time pass. I'm just going to take this view. And we're going to fast forward the shit out of this battle. Hopefully my character doesn't get smoked. See a bunch of death spam. Now what do we have left here? So this is a ton of casualties. There's going to be another round, right? We just killed... I think there's going to be another round. We just killed 300. How many did they have? I guess we'll find out in a second. Maybe that's all they had? I hope that's all they had. Come on, just say they're all captured. I think that means it's it, right? We take all of those ships. Fortunately, my mouse is working good now. Fortunately, I was able to push through that. Now, this is bullshit, man. Damn, these ships all escaped. I can't catch them all. So, I want these lords, of course. I don't know. Oh, shit. And this guy's like, yeah, well, we want you. Can still fight, and we just got a massive heap of upgrades. That's the good news. Let's get these prisoners in here. I think we've got this guy cooked, right? 116. The other little boats are like, yeah, get him, get big brother. Oh, it's Ragnvad. What's up, buddy? It's so weird. You're fighting all of these lords from other kingdoms, and it's Halthar, it's Ragnvad, and that doesn't look good at all. That looks really bad. It looks funny. We have 17 ships. Obviously, we can't use them. We might need these perks. Let's see what we can do here. Let's do the ones fighting on our own ship, right? I almost always choose that. There are times where it helps, you know, bust up the other ships. And I think this other one we want this, right? Impaled shields with thrown javelins and throwing axes deal damage after if they break a shield. Increased range damage. We have a lot of skirmishers left at this stage, I think. And I'm just going to leave that perk point. You know, if it was a $10,000 fight, we'd come in here and do every single perk for our companions. Might be essential at this stage. I think I will do her mariner skill. That might help. It's going to help her ship, right? She's in charge of that ship. Although that perk doesn't help that much. All right, well, let's see what this shit looks like here. And who knows if there's more, right? We might have stepped into it here for sure. The power bar says we lose. I don't know if that power bar knows though that we have a fire pot. Right? That's the game changer for shipboard battle. And we get 3 ships here. Look, we have tons of ships. These must have been ships we just captured. So we have this battle and we jump on their ships basically. And this is all the troops we have. So there's actually no point in getting the other ships except for the ballista, right? You want to make sure that these ships have a ballista. And they do, right? It may not be the perfect ballista, but at least they have ballistas. And let's make sure we're at the rear, second and third. And now you shoot at the enemy as they approach here. And looks like we can speed up the beginning of this battle. Let's wait. I don't have any ballistas on this boat. Why? I'm gonna back out. How come I can't switch to ballista mode? I got a ballista. There it is. Okay. Man, I'm having little things happen here. I think they're bugs. It might be something else. And there's some skeleton ships here as these enemy forces move in. I'm going to fast forward it like this. Hopefully you fellas don't mind. And right about here, we start opening fire. Come on down. Got to do a lot better than that. That's for sure. Now, the really good news here is they're going to destroy the forces that are on here, right? That's the really good news in this battle. Now, the really good news, of course, is at some point, our shots are going to hit nothing except Khazate units because they're going to kill the forces on the boat, and they're going to be thick as lice on these Aserai ships, right? The amount of forces that are here. I should turn my boat so that I get better angles on that. So far, so good, right? There's a big, thick wad of them there, and I killed some of our chiefs there. Come on, baby, load. And we want to back up here. We want to make sure this ship can't board us now that they have smoked those guys there. They're all coming for the last unit. In fact, that looked like Ragnvad right there. It was. Look at our captain at the back of the boat is holding on tight. We got you. The other boat's definitely being swarmed, but we are blasting this boat. Let's keep backing up here. I think distance is our friend. That guy did the best he could. All right, drop down right into my line of sight, just like that. Shit. So 14 over there. This boat is the bulk of the troops. I've got 7 more shots, right? Make them count. Shit, just barely missed. Now we're going to get boarded, right? And it's not maybe, they're coming for sure. Let's keep backpedaling. You try to fend them off by putting your bow towards their front, and then you get some pretty good shots that way. We've got some troops here, and of course our main character is going to be able to do some work. Come on, get back on that ballista. I got to get that guy back on. All right, here, you get off the ballista, right? At least my own guy can fight. We can drill some guys here. Hopefully we don't get smoked. Keep moving. Okay, this ship is the only one we're concerned about. The other one hasn't pulled up yet. You got to kill quick here. Okay, these guys are going to come towards us. Yeah, my job is just to hold off this rear. Kill the guys with javelins, right? Target those guys first. Damn. I thought these javelins would go right through. They're not. It's killing about half the guys it hits. Let's kill this mariner here. He's throwing javelins at us. out of javelins. That's bad. How many left? We got like 6 of us left. This is where you need that javelin reload, and I don't have it. Gotta kill that guy. The fucking line breaker is a problem. There's a little looter fighting him. Fight! We got some numerical advantages on that guy. Alright, we're good there. That looks good. There's another fucking tough troop here. Alright, I need javelins. I need them right now. There's more dudes coming. Hopefully our guys stay on this boat. Fuck, kill this guy. These are probably our javelins that were thrown here. Oh, man, that was like a heart attack battle. My heart's pounding. How many troops do we have left? There's like 6 of us or something like that. That was fucking great. Bannerlord is great. How can you not like Bannerlord? Good job, lads. That was sick. Now, it's still not over, right? We're seriously wounded unless, right, we get some prisoners. There's definitely a chance one of these boats has 15, 20, 30 prisoners, right? Right now, it would be super welcomed. But it doesn't look like that's the case. All right, let's not bother with any of those prisoners here. We're hiding at this stage. I don't think... Okay, my main character could fight. That's great news, right? Because at least if we get attacked by sea raiders or something right here, at least we have ammo. 81%. We're toting like 40 ships here. We have 19 ships. I hear guys having like 130 ships. I've never had more than like 30. And what a weird situation. I don't think they're going to attack, but talk about being vulnerable here. We're going to corner you. 13 on 1, you're dead. Now they're healing, right? That's not good. And we're barely moving here. Of course, we're toting a huge fleet. I think probably discretion is the better part of valor here. The little city patrol might come out and capture us at this stage, so we run. Right? I'm just going to sit right here, and now I'm going to fast forward and hope we can heal. I can get to land, I think, if something comes. I think that's a good sign. This guy's like, what are you doing? I'm like, I just killed the whole Khazate force. What are you doing? All right, now the city. I forgot all about this castle. Right, that was a secondary thing, and they're still not in here, right? We got a chance to defend that, believe it or not. So this little harbor right here, we're going to call this safe harbor. I'm going to fast forward, and oh shit. And then you try to get to land as fast as you can, right? This guy, I think, is going to catch us. Let's recruit any prisoners. There aren't any. Go, baby. Get on land. We're caught. Man. All right. Power bar says we can win this shit, right? I didn't see who healed. I presume we've got some healthy troops here, right? Because all these battles consecutively, what happens is your best troops tend to heal first. And instantly, we're like a high-end mariner in this campaign. It's pretty comical. Range dealt by character. Melee dealt by character. Throwing damage dealt by crew. It's a tough one. We're probably going to do bow on our ship more often, so I think we'll select that one. The 250 perk is what I want, right? With the extra party troops, that's a good perk. This is a nice one, though, too. Extra hit points. Now, notice, land only, right? So, again, this wasn't clear before. Tailworlds has done a good job here making the perks clear. That perk only, the bottom one there, only applies to land. The top one, it looks like it applies to both, right? So, no matter what happens with my main character, I benefit. And here we go. I guess we could be in trouble. One of these, it just doesn't take much, right, at this stage for you to get captured. Something simple, like your character gets one shot, right, and I can't throw javelins or something like that. But I did read about this part. I read you can still use the ships even with skeleton crews. And you want to talk about a skeleton crew, right? I thought there was 3. There's 9 people on that ship. There must be like 12 on our boat, right? There's 11 archers on our boat. But, we still have ballistas, right? So I think we got this battle in the bag. This is weird. There's an awkward silence, right? My boat is empty. There's hardly anybody here. Now, they've got the wind gauge. And I still can't. You know what? I don't think there's anybody on the ballista. There is a guy on the ballista. How come I can't man it then? I want that ballista. There we go. All right. Let's speed this up here. Just like the previous battle, at about 200 meters, I think is good to start firing ballista shots. And these two boats kind of have naturally drifted with the ocean, or about where I want them to be, right? Basically in the way of the enemy getting to us, right? They have more troops. We probably have better troops. And more importantly, we have fire pop ballistas. Now, right now, I can't fucking see. That mast is actually in the way. And we don't move much, right? Our ship is going to be very, very slow because there's hardly anybody rowing. It's a ghostly, weird battle here. There's a bunch of troops over there. And I kind of wish I was on that other boat. And I kind of wish I didn't just kill my own troops. Let's tell our guys to stop rowing. At least they could shoot. And that other boat, they got slammed. And I just smoked my wife and the companion. And, you know, I'm nervous, so I don't want to lose this battle after all this positive shit has happened. When you're nervous, sometimes you do stupid shit, and the waves are not cooperating. But we're in a pretty good shape here, right? Like, we're bombarding the enemy with fire catapults, and they're literally 3 boats apart from us here, right? I'm going to back up just for a better angle. They're trying to come at us here, but I don't think that's going to work out well. Any guy that comes into our range here is going to be blasted. They're going to board us, though. We're so slow, I can't avoid this, right? We're going to get boarded. their shit's on fire. And we get the final showdown here. This is insane, man. Just battle after battle. And there really could be more, right? It's very conceivable that those other boats didn't want that to happen, that's for sure. I'm getting swirled by the waves. Oh, no. Get on the ladder. I mean, dude's going to get killed without me. All right, lads. Good job. And here, you don't want to draw attention. If they don't look at you, nothing's happening. You guys don't hear anything. Don't pay any attention. It's just, you know, the random nature of things. Nobody's on your boat killing your whole force, right? Just look the other way. There you go. You fell in the water and drowned. You can be the last casualty here, dude. Have a javelin in the chest. And we have succeeded incredibly. This miraculous series of battles. It's not over yet, but it's basically over, right? This last ship here, they're trying to skirmish with us. Skirmish. Maybe now they're trying to get on. I think that guy did drown. I knocked a guy off. Actually, I could just hear him drowning. That's him drowning down there. The boat's slamming him or something like that, and he's drowning. That's the drowning sound. I always wondered if Tailworlds, you know, put some guy in a bar. It makes some horrific sounds underwater because it's, you know, it's pretty visceral sound here. And I'm about to jump off this boat here if they don't do something soon. They're just sailing around the ocean here, wasting our time. What can I do? If this doesn't end soon, I'm just going to auto-resolve. All right, never mind. We don't need to. And the system takes a little while to get to that phase, but it used to be you literally had to kill every last guy. It's a good example of little things they've done here. The game is looking at this like, all right, there's no chance that 3 are going to defeat 14 here, and eventually it ends like that in our favor. And I think this might be a good spot to end the episode, although I guess we could still do the siege defense of Jamaya here if we ever get there, right? I don't know if we'll ever make it there. We're going to get repeatedly attacked here. It almost seems better for me to get on land. And at least we got prisoners there, right? That was pretty tasty. Healthy troops. We're up to 23. It feels like we have a huge force. Now I can have 6 guys rowing instead of 5. What a wild sequence of events. We've got so many ships here. I need a city, something fierce. And we don't have any, right? I guess we're going to have to sail down to Sanala or Askar. And if I get off here, I'm endangered to... in serious danger to looters and stuff like that. But you know what? They tend to move pretty slow. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's take a chance here. We're at risk no matter what. And actually, I didn't think about that. Sometimes you got troops with quests waiting for you to get off your boat. I don't really want to move far away from our boats here. Our boats feels like a chance to escape, right? If a bunch of Khazate swarm in here right now, I'm going to try to get on our boat. So I'm actually just going to sit by our boats here. Right? We've got 1 foot in the water here and heal. I can't sneak in yet. I don't even feel like I can go over there. The good news is they're taking forever to set up the siege. We just got deserters, of course. But we want to try to get in before the next deserter check here. We have 41 healthy troops. There is a point where you don't have enough forces to defend, right? 41 is not sufficient, I think, here. 208. Maybe I can get us to 100 healing. Do we have the right healer signed? I think so. Yeah, she's doing her healing thing, but we've got a lot of injured, right? That's helpful. We just had a quest come back. So maybe we have just enough here to sneak in and make a crazy... God, the hits keep on coming here. Now, the good news is usually they're automatons when they're following an army like that. I'm just going to stay out of line of sight here. 131. Just had another deserter check. There's 2 armies there. Maybe in the morning. Is it going to make it? It's going to make it to the morning. 62, 63. Unfortunately, we're getting deserters almost as fast as we heal here. This is not a square. We can get those guys in the morning. I wish there were some looters here we could add. 80. I think it's suicide. Right, we would have 140 defending against 1300 with high-end lords. So, we're gonna call this episode "Discretion is the better part of valor." It's a good example. There is a limitation to what you can do with the force. If you get 60 inside here, you can't even begin to make a square. The AI that's inside there is going to scream like little girls and run. So we're going to wrap this episode up here with a little discretion is the better part of valor as this bandit campaign continues. I hope you join us for the rest of this journey. Hopefully it's more episodes like that where it's just nonstop, just white knuckle battles on the edge of your seat. That was thrilling for me. Hopefully you enjoyed. Hopefully you learned something. Hopefully you can teach me something. Of course, always leave comments if you see things I can do to improve. I'm sure there's a lot of them. Please hit that like button, subscribe, all the stuff I normally say at the end of an episode, and I will see you friends next time.